So, you want to improve on looping? Well, this video is for you! Now, today's video, we're just going to be going over just a few tips, some beginner tips on how to improve your looping. You guys get to see the settings I use, and even the filters I use when I play this game. And at the end of the video, you guys are going to be seeing just a few chases on where I use these tips that I have given you in actual games. But without further ado, enough waiting, let's just get right into the video. Alright, so in this clip right here, I'm doing what is called check spawning, which is not committing fully. See, right there, I could use third person to my advantage by seeing where the killer is, while the killer cannot see me. So since I'm standing behind this wall, essentially, the killer cannot see me, as you see right there. Killer could not see me, therefore I take advantage of that moment. Even the killer got confused. Shout out to Hell, by the way, because we were doing some custom games to kind of run some practice ones. But don't worry, you guys will be seeing some real chases by the end of this video, with me using all of the tips I have given you and put into play. Alright, so moving on to our next tip is knowing when to drop pallets. Now see, I ended up not dropping it there because I knew I could extend the loop. However, the trapper here makes a turn back. And knowing Trapper is 4.6 speed, I knew I was going to make it, so I ended up dropping it right then and there. Same result will happen here. I knew I was not going to make it, so I ended up dropping, and guess what? I ended up getting the stun in this clip as well. Now, coming up to this chase here, there are times where obviously the killer will not always break the pallets, and this could now cause as a loop extender, just in case you don't always get the stun. Now, in this part right here, I do not get the stun, but the killer does not break the pallet. Therefore, I could actually use this loop now as a not chain loop, but more so as a loop extender. So, doing that, now I can just extend chase by just running around. See, now Trapper ends up breaking the pallet with me gaining distance in the end of this clip. Now, with killers such as Nemesis, Pyramid Head, and Huntress, what they have is a ranged attack, so usually it would be more beneficial if you pre-drop against them, because it'll be a lot more difficult for them to hit their power. As you can see, I pre-drop this pallet when Huntress is around the corner, therefore she doesn't even have a chance to throw her hatchet and hit me, but she doesn't break the pallet here, which makes it a lot more difficult for her to hit her hatchets. Therefore, I'm able to actually leave this room safely and end up losing chase with her, as you can see on the left of the screen. Here, I kind of greed this pallet here because usually when Huntress and Trickster wind up for their throws, they are even slower than what they already are as well. So as you can see here, I'm able to greed this pallet kind of a bit more than I guess you could say the average killer would, because she's so slow when she winds up. As you can see here, I even see her wind up here. I don't drop it because I know she's a lot slower, and she's not even able to hit me because I'm always going to be behind a corner before she is able to get there. So just a little extra tip there, just in case you go up against a ranged killer, not so much as an M1 killer like maybe Trapper or Wraith. Now, the next step we're going to be going over is using Killer's Red Stain to your advantage. Now, the Killer's Red Stain is the direction they're looking at. So, to you as a survivor, you can think of it as a spoiler alert to where they're going. As you can see here, I can already tell Trapper here is vaulting before I can even see him actually doing it. And this allows me to play this TNL wall pretty well for the most part. As you can see here coming up in this next clip, you'll be able to see Trickster's Red Stain, and like I said, here is the spoiler alert once again. I'm able to see that Trickster is actually committing to that one side of the fence. Same thing there, I'm able to see that he's not trying to do any mind games or anything, just straight up committing to that one side. And as well as this clip here does the same thing, holding out power as well. So Trickster's also going to be a bit more slower as well. But as you can see here, Trickster comes up and then quickly doubles back, and I'm able to see that all through the fence. And the only reason why I'm able to see that is because of the Killer Red Stain. So once again, use that as a survivor to your advantage. Alright, the next tip is hugging corners tight. What I mean by this is basically sticking your nose into the surface of the wall. As you can see here, I am just basically sticking the whole character right up to the corner here. Therefore, I'm actually able to make this loop because of it. As you can see, Trickster will swing, completely miss. And if I actually was not hugging this corner tight, she was going to be able to get the hit. Also, as you can see in this Nemesis clip right here as well, I am hugging this rock so tight that as soon as he uses his tentacle strike, I'm actually out of chase for quite a while until I drop the pallet here. So I will say this tip is very useful in order if you want to get out of chase and also it can extend your loop for quite some time, because getting out of chase once again breaks the bloodlust. They do not get any type of speed boost for a minute until they are in chase. So once again, I feel like this is a very useful tip that you can use in your next chase, and you could possibly make loops that you couldn't before. Now, the next tip I'm going to be going over is how to spin killers. This is really helpful because it could extend chase for up to another few seconds to up to a minute, buying your teammates time to do more gens. I will say I apologize for this quality of footage here that I'm showing you guys. These are pretty old clips that I do not have access to the original file from. So this is the best quality I could get it up to. However, these, I'm going to show you guys how you're able to hit this so you guys can maybe get some nice cool clips for you personally. Alright, so here's how to do the spin, and I even have the controller cam so I can show you guys, to the people who play on controller. If you play on keyboard and mouse, do not worry, the same rules apply to you guys as well, and I will show you, I'll explain how. So, if you want to move spin, say, in a left direction like this, what you want to do is move your joystick to the left and then move your camera to the right. So, kind of look like this. If you want to move to the right, say spin in a right circle, move your camera to the left and do that. So basically, if you're on keyboard or mouse, WASD to the left, move your mouse to the right. If you want to go right, WASD to the right, and then move your camera to the left and move your mouse to the left direction. I will say right now from the get-go, it is not guaranteed that every killer is spinnable. It does get to a point where you're going to have killers that aren't going to be spinnable when you hit, which is why I say it's not a guaranteed that this will work. However, if it does work, you do gain a chase extension from, like I said, to a few seconds to another minute. Now, the next tip I'd like to be going over is perks. Now, there are certain perks out there that will help you extend your chase due to you having these select perks. Now, perks I like to run is Dramaturgy, which is basically an on-command sprint burst, which allows you to get 25% haste for 2 seconds. However, it comes with the downside of being exposed for 12 seconds. So I recommend maybe using this until you get the exposed status effect, because you cannot reroll the same status effect back to back. So there's no way you'll get exposed and then exposed again the second time you use it. Which is why I would pair this up with Vigil, because not only do you get exhausted from Dramaturgy, but you also get the exposed, which Vigil counters that by getting rid of them 66% faster. So I recommend using that, and also Fixated as well, because guess what? While you're recovering from your exhaustion, you get to use Fixated, which obviously when you walk, you lose it. So you also walk 20% faster and see your own scratch marks, which is good information to use. I also like to pair this up with Adrenaline, just in case, you know, you're about to get hit, or the killer's committed to you at the final gen, and the amount of times they would think they got me. And guess what? The last gen pops, I get an extra speed boost for 3 seconds, and also I regain a health state. Very useful build. I like using this. Another build I recommend using is this type of build. I call this the vaulting build, because you get finesse, which allows you to vault 20% faster, and while you get a fast or medium vault, you gain 50% haste for 3 seconds. Run this up with Vigil or Fixated, whatever you prefer. And if you do not have Fixated, run it with Windows. So if you want to run Vigil and Fixated here, more than happy to do so, or run Windows just in case you don't know the map really well and you want to see where the windows or pallets are. Now, the final build I'd like to be going over is this injured build, more so per se. This actually is more so, like I said, an injured build, because resilience only works when you're injured. However, you get to vault 9% faster and basically do everything else 9% faster. Dead Hard allows you to take an extra hit while you're injured if you could hit it correctly. However, there are a lot of killers now that usually wait this out. But if you hit it, you also get the D-Boon status effect, which paired with Made for this allows you to gain 3% haste. Very good perk, especially if the killer is tunneling you right after you get hit with the hook. Because guess what? Even though you have Made for this, you also have Decisive Strike if they decide to tunnel you out. If you go down again, try to get hit, guess what? You hit this skill check, you will be good to go. And guess what? Extend chase, possibly gain that final gen done. Like I said, honorable mentions will go to perks such as Sprint Burst. So I would love to use that. Balance landing, very situational, but I never really see people running this perk anymore as much as they used to. Alright, so I've had a few people ask me what my reshade settings are and stuff like that. However, I personally do not use reshade. I actually have an NVIDIA monitor that allows me to change my game filters right then and there. So this is what my settings are for it. I have the RTX Dynamic Vibrance on, which is a must in my opinion in case you want to make your game look bright as hell like this. I have it set to 75 and 70 for the saturation boost. For sharpen, this just makes the visuals look more clear. Everything just seems more clear when you have this on. I have it set to 70. That way, like I said, it looks very well. Does not change the game that much. Night mode is optional, I will say, because like I said, I personally look at this screen quite often, and I do not want my eyes to be hurting after I have a long gaming session. So essentially, this is what the game looks like without having any filters on, which is a complete difference. I mean, look at that right then and there. So that's what the game looks like with no filters, and this is what the game looks like with all my filters applied. Very big difference, very huge help. So like I said, if you have an NVIDIA monitor, I would highly recommend using this. Alright, so we have now moved over to the settings part of the tutorial. Now, for my game, I have it personally set down to low because I feel like I could see everything more clearly. There's not a lot of shadows or anything like that to get in the way. However, if you do care about the quality of the game, you could always set your game to ultra. I also have my gamma set to 2.5, which I believe is 0.3 above the normal setting right there. So yeah, that is what I have for my graphic settings. Alright, so now on to the controls. I am a controller player for Survivor, so this part is kind of going to be more focused to the people who play on controller for Survivor. Now, for my controller sensitivity, I have it set to 70%. I feel like this is a good amount. It's not too high, but it's also not too low, in my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, this type of setting is personal preference at the end of the day. Alright, moving on though, I feel like this setting is important. Pick up items, interactions, I have it set to X or square if you're playing on PS5 controller, which is what I'm playing on. I do not know why it's showing Xbox controls right now for for a PC, but yeah. This is important, you know, because usually on default controller settings, this is also set to the same button as your actions button, which is why, you know, you might heal someone or you might drop a pallet instead of healing someone. This is a must. It will take some time to get used to, but I feel like this is a huge help. That way you're not dropping a pallet on someone who's already down, therefore wasting a pallet and also not being able to heal that person. So, like I said, it is X on Xbox, square on PS5. Alright, we have reached the part of the video where I use the tips and tricks I have given you and using them in an actual chase. I'll even have at the bottom left hand of the screen what exact tip or trick I used in that exact moment. That way you guys are not lost and confused and understand what's going on when I'm actually doing the loops in these chases. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy these chases and let's just get right on into it. Shoo! He doesn't double back. Ah! Nice. Still on me. Still looping one pallet. Ah, he got it. Yep, it's fine. I knew the double backing would pay off one day. Don't go Shag. Yeah, I'm heading opposite of Shag. There's one. He is still on me. He is still on me. Oh, we're out of chase. Oh, we're back in chase. What the hell is he doing? Wait, this guy's funny. Oh my goodness, this guy's funny. I'm actually kind of getting dizzy. I might drop this pallet here. Nice. Nice. He didn't eat. Okay. Oh, I make that too. Oh, I so make that, right? Oh, he already opened the door though. Nice. Come on, 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 come on! No! Wow, good shot. Wow, okay. Nice. That's just insane. Wow, the timing on that's actually just incredible. Oh my goodness! I'm like messing up a lot. Oh, I'm messing up a shit ton. Nice. Nice. He's still on me. Nice. Nice, he breaks that. Cool. Oh, that might be brutal. That may be brutal. Nice. Oh, he might be committed to me. Trying. Nice. I'm so sorry, I have to. I sold. Nice. What the hell? Oh my goodness! Nice. That's okay. Am I just that close? Wow. Okay, here we go. Do I have a pallet? Do I at least have a good pallet? I do. I do. Oh my goodness! Alright, cool. We have Shaq. It's undetectable. That's okay. There we go. Nice. Oh my goodness! Nice! Oh, that got him! That's huge! That's interesting. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we survived his escape. We survived his exposed time, so we're chilling. Alright, well that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys enjoyed and learned something from this video, make sure to leave a like and comment down below if this has actually helped you extend your chase times overall and helped you improve as a Survivor player. If you guys also want another tutorial maybe in the future, maybe a bit more advanced looping techniques, let me know in the comments down below. But without further ado, that's going to wrap it up. My name is Pooks, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace, peace, peace!